Introducing first, this man fighting out of the Coliseum Bar, red corner. He stands in at 5 foot 7 inches tall. He weighed at 168 1/2 pounds. He hails from Huber Heights, Ohio, and represents Walker Mixed Martial Arts in 12 bouts. He has 7 victories. Ladies and gentlemen, Brandon Suber. His opponent is this man, fighting out of the Harley-Davidson of Madison, blue corner. He hails from Johnson Creek, Wisconsin, and represents the Chosen Few. This man stands in at 6 feet tall. He weighed in at 168 1/2 ready pounds. He is undefeated. 4 bouts, 4 victories, 4 finishes, 3 by knockout. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the cage, Mark Lemminger!
Absolutely deafening here at the Monona Terrace as Mark Lemminger gets set to square off with Brandon Suber, as Lemminger looking to make history and grab the first ever Chosen Few professional welterweight title. The crowd squarely behind their man here tonight as Lemminger and Suber touch gloves and they're ready to go, and Lemminger right in on Suber. And one thing that I've always been impressed about when I watch Mark Lemminger fight, he doesn't give the other guy a chance to breathe. He is in tight the entire fight when he's in the cage.
Brandon Suber has a mountain to climb against Mark Lemminger. This kid has all stud, all war written all over him. None of his fights have even been close. We'll see if a veteran like Suber, 12 bouts under his belt, can handle just the raw power and raw talent of Mark Lemminger.
And he is so good in close. I mean, that's got to be so tough on a fighter. I mean, there's almost no way to keep Lemminger off of you. And how frustrating is that when you're in the cage?
You know, even though both guys weigh the same amount, when they weigh in yesterday, these are 2 completely different size fighters, and that goes exactly to what you just said. He cannot get Lemminger off of him. Strength, height, he's overwhelming right now in top control. You can tell Suber cannot escape anything Lemminger's doing right now.
And the technique of Lemminger, I mean, absolutely amazing, as he is right in on Suber from jump and has not let go, as he is holding on to that right arm of Suber right now. And you will see Lemminger when he is ready to. I mean, he is not afraid to start dishing out punishment with his other hand.
Well, and he's obviously not afraid of Suber at all. I mean, he hasn't even really thrown any crazy strikes yet. It's just been complete wrestling, complete grappling control. I want to see him start throwing.
Suber got back up to his feet and caught a couple of elbows for that, and Lemminger is right back in on him. And he will get in tight and get in tight quickly, as again he's going to work on Suber, throwing hands, using arms and his feet, and again getting Suber up against the cage. Now Suber trying to press Lemminger against the cage right here and using maybe some of that experience that he has to draw against Lemminger.
Now, a lot of people would say this is desperation because you can't handle the brute strength, the power, the length of Lemminger. But what Suber knows is he doesn't want to be at a distance with this guy, but he also doesn't want to have him on top of him. So what can I do? I can push him up against the cage, maybe throw some strikes. Right now I can use my Greco-Roman background and hopefully control and slow down the freight train that's Mark Lemminger right now.
And that's a lot of what you're seeing right now, some of that Greco-Roman styles. Lemminger up against the cage against Suber, but he's going to take him down anyways, and there's the power of Mark Lemminger coming into play.
Fantastic judo throw. You use your opponent's leverage against them and toss them on the ground, and here comes that punishment from Lemminger. Big right hands while he's tying up Suber.
Flurry of right hands and elbows, some knees as well thrown in there, and a cut on the nose of Suber as Lemminger has gone to work and dished out the punishment here in round number 1, scheduled for 5. We're not planning on it going that long.
It's all going to depend on Mark Lemminger's gas tank and how much punishment Suber can take in this first round. If Suber can survive, we'll see what happens to Lemminger in the second round because he never gets there. So how much is his gas tank? He's obviously in great shape. There's a lot of lean muscle there, but again, we got to talk lactic acid buildup. He spent a lot of energy grappling in the first round. Will it matter? Who knows? Because Suber right now is still not panicking, no matter what's going on in the cage, and he's close to getting back control right now, which is pretty big. So he survived the big punishment. Mark threw it on him right away. We'll see if this veteran right now can do some damage to Mark Lemminger.
And can that help Suber emotionally, as now he's using his knee to drive it into the back of the left thigh of Lemminger. We saw that in the last fight. Pacheco was able to do that to Gilpin, and now that is what Suber's attempting to do to Lemminger. Take away a guy's legs, you take away his strength as Suber continues to drive forward on Lemminger with just over 30 seconds left in the round. But Lemminger uses his power once again to get on top of Suber.
Definitely technique involved. You lift and trip, but power has a lot to do with that too. Taller, stronger, you're able to do that. And now fully mounted on a smaller fighter. This could end poorly for Suber. Now back mounted, so we'll see what kind of submission game Lemminger has.
Doesn't have a whole lot of a time to do it. Final 10 seconds of round number 1. Another takedown as Lemminger continues to rack up the points here in round number 1, which comes to an end. We'll go to the second round next. You're watching The Chosen Few on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Our main event of the evening, Lemminger and Suber, and good action in the first round. Chris, what did you see?
What I saw was total domination from Mark Lemminger, but I also saw a veteran fighter in Suber survive. So, even though that was an easy 10-9 for Lemminger, I want to know what he's got coming into this second round, because even though he threw a lot of damage with those great left and rights there, he didn't hurt Suber. Suber looks to be for, I guess, and I wouldn't say better, worse for the wear, but he survived. Nobody else survives against Mark Lemminger. So mentally, Suber's probably in a decent place. Hey, I took this brute, took him to a second round. Nobody else does that. So we'll see what kind of gas tank Lemminger has. His mouth is wide open. He's breathing heavy. But again, he's an in-shape fighter. He spent a lot of energy. We'll see what type of gas tank he has here.
Yeah, it's kind of hard, too, to know, not only do you have to fight Lemminger, but you also have to fight this crowd. This crowd is squarely behind Lemminger, and he definitely feeds off of it. Every little thing that he does, every advantage that he gains, draws raucous applause.
And he went from single leg to ankle pick there. Good takedown. And now he's got back control of Suber. I think Lemminger wants to end this thing as quickly as possible. Look at him just dragging him over to his corner, which is an amazing feat in general. But you're in your own corner. You can hear your own instructions. Your fighter, again, in enemy territory.
There's a good left, and that hurts Suber. But Suber holding on to the ankle of Lemminger. Lemminger getting away now. Hammer blows coming down on to his opponent, Suber. Suber holding on for dear life here as he's taken some early damage in round number 2.
Suber's in desperation mode. He was hurt by that punch. He went for a takedown still on his knees. Lemminger, though, for the first time was just put on his back, but doesn't look to be panicking at all. Uses the left arm of Suber to stand back up, put Suber in a little bit of trouble here, but it's crazy how big and strong Mark Lemminger has. Or how big he is. It's insane seeing the type of specimen he is.
And what great shape he is in. I mean, from top to bottom, you talked about the lean muscle, abs, legs, everything. He looks to be in amazing shape right now. As Suber, though, has him backed up against the post here on the cage here in the second minute of the second round.
And this is where Suber has to keep the fight. If he wants to win, he's got to grind out 4 more rounds like this, hopefully win on some sort of striking or control advantage. and stop from being taken down like that, which was a good job. And look, he closed the gap one more time. He doesn't want to let Lemminger get off.
Lemminger just pushing Suber down. Now he hits with a couple of good shots. Good striking from Lemminger as he continues to rain blows down, and the crowd approves. They love it.
And this one's going to end here pretty soon because I don't see Suber being able to take too many more shots to the chin like that. He is gassed out, tired, and taking some monstrous punches.
And now bloodied as well, as good lefts and rights from Mark Lemminger, looking to go to 5-0 and get a professional title, and that right landed again on Suber near the chin. Suber did a nice job of being able to shake that one off. I thought that one had some good power behind it.
Yeah, and I don't know how he's doing it. He's taking damage. If you're going to take any positivity from this so far, is that Lemminger is breathing hard right now, so he's getting a bit gassed, but I just can't see Suber taking any more of the damage he's taken, and that he's going to take right here too.
Shots coming down to the top and side of the head as Brandon Suber really has a big knot on his left cheekbone. It is bloody and caught one to the chin. A left there by Lemminger. Lemminger gets on top once again, then looks to free up the left forearm and elbows. He's driving it into the bloodied face of Brandon Suber.
And Lemminger is going to feel as free in a fight as any fighter's ever felt. He does not feel in danger whatsoever from Brandon Suber. Suber hasn't been able to hurt him, hasn't been able to threaten him with any submissions. So Lemminger really is in practice right now, believe it or not. He knows he's in complete control. He doesn't care how long the fight lasts. He's just going to do as much damage till he makes Suber quit. Or makes the referee stop the fight.
Absolutely, yeah, one way or the other. It looks that way, as again, I think you're right, Suber hasn't been done anything that's going to scare Lemminger at all, and so Lemminger right now continues to use those forearms and elbows to inflict more damage. As you see, wow, a tremendous amount of blood now coming off of the face of Suber.
And Lemminger is making another sacrifice to the MMA gods, very similar to what Dennis Anderson did earlier on in the show. Suber's face is a mess right now.
Unbelievable, as Lemminger trying to get out of the hold and get away from Suber. There's Suber in desperation mode. As you see the blood now on the face of Lemminger. I'm not sure whose blood that is anymore.
I'm not sure either. I don't see it cut, and that could be stuff that just was either spit out or rubbed onto Lemminger's face. I don't know if there's a cut on the bridge of the nose. It looks like there might be on Lemminger. We're going to have to see here.
Well, I thought we saw a bloody fight earlier. This one is topping that in our main event of the evening, and the crowd was so loud I didn't even hear the bell. That is how crazy it is here at the Monona Terrace. Brandon Suber slumped over. Will he answer the bell in round 3? We'll find out. You're watching the Chosen Few Fighting Championships on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. A brutal title fight as the blood has mounted here after the second round. And Chris, it looks like Mark Lemminger is in complete control.
Well, look how strong he is, dragging Suber across the cage like that, throwing him around, landing big lefts, big rights. But I got to give credit to Suber. I don't care that he's losing this fight. He's staying in it. He's fighting all the way through. The only issue is he's had no offense whatsoever for Mark Lemminger.
Yeah, you talked about Lemminger throwing him around, and that's so impressive. Like you said, these guys weigh the same. So being able to take that guy and just throw him around, and he's done it a few times in this fight, is pretty astounding right now. As you take a look at Suber just sitting on the ground, and boy, he just doesn't look like he's all that game to come out here for round number 3.
Now, one thing that we haven't talked about yet is that is definitely a cut on Mark Lemminger's face. So Drago has been cut. Does that mean that Rocky's going to come back and win this fight and give you the speech at the end? We're going to see here if Ohio is going to win over Wisconsin. I don't see it happening at this point, but hey, Drago's been cut. You never know.
He bleeds. He's human. As Mark Lemminger and Brandon Suber ready for round number 3. And Suber We got a timeout here as our ref is taking a look now as we got the doctor looking in at Lemminger.
There's a hematoma under his right eye. Doc was checking to see how he was doing, if he could see, if he was having breathing issues, and he's going to do the same thing right now to Suber. Suber does have that big hematoma and the cut under his right eye, but both guys look ready to go. So you get best of both worlds there. A doctor checking for the safety of the fighters, and both fighters saying, get out of here, we've got a title fight.
Right, here we go. The strap on the line. The welterweight title, round number 3, scheduled for 5. It has been bloody. It has been gory and tough. Mark Lemminger seemingly in control, but Brandon Suber's been toughing this one out and is still alive here in round number 3.
And I like that Suber is on the balls of his feet. He's looking for somewhere to strike, somehow to mount at least a little bit of offense. And Lemminger looks a little gassed. He does.
Indeed he does, and never thought we'd see the day with Mark Lemminger. And like you talked about, though, he's not used to going this far. This is something different, and whenever a fighter breaks through that threshold, it's a big learning experience and a new moment for them. So we'll see how Lemminger responds to it here in the 3rd round.
And let's give credit to the chosen few matchmaker, Josh Steary. You know, you look at this fight on paper, you look at these two fighters stand next to each other. Everybody thought Lemminger was going to end this fight in under a minute, Mike Tyson style. Hasn't happened. Suber's still alive.
Yeah, Suber has been game. He's been strong and stout. Lemminger now following up a right hand with a couple of lefts. He hits him again, and now it's Suber trying to go for the takedown here of Lemminger as he is trying to mount him from behind. He's using that knee again to the thigh of Lemminger, and that's actually been successful for Suber. If there's anything that's scoring for him offensively, it's been that.
Well, I like the aggression. I like that he's holding on. Lemminger is tired right now, so he's not able to whip out right now. And I don't see Suber going for a takedown at this point, which is really normally why you would clinch in this sort of position that he's in. But you know what? He's landing strikes. He's scoring points. This fight's still technically open. You're going to give Lemminger the first couple rounds, of course, but remember, this is a 5-round fight. We're going to enter the championship rounds after this. If Suber can steal a round and then win the last 2 because Lemminger's gassed out, maybe he won't finish him, but you're going to win on the scorecards. Can you imagine someone from Ohio taking home the first ever chosen few welterweight title?
I don't want to see it, Chris.
The crowd would lose it. They would lose it.
Exactly. They'll tear the rafters off of this place as they are squarely behind Lemminger, and Lemminger right now giving them a little bit of cause for concern as Suber seems to have the upper hand here in the 3rd round.
And the crowd's not going to like this because it's going to seem boring to them and it's going to seem like it's desperation out of Suber, but this is exactly what he needs to do. He's in control.
As a timeout here right now, and I'm not sure our referee is calling Nestor Rodriguez back into the ring to take a look at Lemminger.
And Tom saw something in his eye, and he wants the doc to take a look at it. If your vision is impaired and you can't see, the doc is going to stop the fight. But you saw Lemminger, there was no way he was going to let the doc. He basically pushed him away.
He dispatched of Rodriguez quickly there, and the doc is back out, and the fighters are squared up back in the ring, and maybe that might have helped Lemminger actually a little bit in the grand scheme of things as he seemed unable to break the hold of Brandon Suber. Now he comes in with the left, and they're back to fighting again, and Lemminger is trying right now to gain that upper hand through striking Brandon Suber.
And I love our referee. He's a good referee. He's a veteran. He's been doing this a long time, but he made a mistake. And I'll talk about it here if Suber doesn't get submitted. He's in a guillotine, and it's pretty tight right now.
Yes,
it's almost. And he tapped out.
There it is, and it's over. And Lemminger wins the fight. And I got to think, and you talked about mistakes, that little break right there, and it got Lemminger out and back up, and they squared up again, and that's what cost Suber in this fight and got
Now,
Lemminger
if I had to put money on this fight, I thought Lemminger was going to win anyways, but I'll tell you what, Tom made a big mistake not putting him back in that dominant position that Suber was in. When he broke up that fight, you cannot neutral position them. I don't know. Again, I don't want to come down too hard on our officials because they have a tough enough job as it is. But I feel bad for Suber. I really do. I don't think he was going to win the fight, but he also just got it stolen from him.
Yeah, and there you could definitely see that. You know, definitely the referees looking out for the safety of both fighters and looking out for the safety of Mark Lemminger as well. But it definitely appeared that that little breakup and then going back to a neutral position helped Lemminger immensely and allowed him to end this fight quickly then once they re-engaged.
Well, you know, that's what happens in the fight game. Tom was doing the right thing, protecting the fighter, wanted to make sure Lemminger was okay. But it ended. We have a new champion. We're going to celebrate him as the new champion. Suber didn't seem to be too upset by the stoppage. He knew he was getting beat up pretty bad, but I would have liked to have seen Tom put Suber back in the position he was in.
Mark Lemminger is 5-0 and the welterweight champion of Chosen Few. We will go up to the cage for the official announcement right after this. Don't go anywhere. You're watching the Chosen Few Fighting Championships on Wisconsin's 57 Sports. Couple of champions crowned here in the professional ranks for the first time in Chosen Few history, and boy, there were some great fights here tonight. We did all 12 of them, and it finished with a flurry and 2 new belts being handed out, and Mark Lemminger able to handle Brandon Suber in a bloody fight. We thought that maybe that the Anderson-Zydek fight was the bloodiest of the night. As you see, this one definitely took the cake there. Let's go up to the cage.
3 minutes, 21 seconds of round number 3 for your winner by Ninja Choke and the new Chosen Few welterweight champion, Mark Lemminger.
The sold-out crowd loves it here, and they're going to love hearing some words from their brand new champion. Chris has the mic as both fighters posing bloody and all with Josh Sterry, and here we go.
The new welterweight champion, I would say definitely your toughest fight to date. A grizzled veteran took your punishment in the first round and actually had a bit of a comeback of his own going there in that 3rd round. And actually the doctor's stoppage seemed to help you out a bit because it broke you guys up off the cage. Talk about that finishing blow. How does it feel to be the new champ?
Oh man, it feels awesome. My teammate Alex Gilpin, me and him are real close, and we got the opportunity to fight for a belt the same night. That's all I've been thinking about. This is a dream come true, being able to win a belt with him. Awesome.
You're 5-0, undefeated. You want to keep going on a roll. What do you see for your next fight? You look a little hurt, so obviously you're going to want to recover. When do you see your next fight?
I want to take a little break, get my face back together a little bit, and go from there,
You look great. You did a great job. Congratulations. You're the new welterweight champion. Ladies and gentlemen, let's give